The Town of Los Gatos Planning Commission meeting of August. This is not the right script. I apologize for that. Yes, of September 10th, 2025 is now called to order. I will now call the roll. Commissioners, please state here when your name is called. Commissioner Burnett.
Here.
Commissioner Raspy.
Here.
Vice Chair Birch.
Here.
Commissioner Barnett.
Here.
Commissioner Stump.
Here.
Commissioner Sorty.
Here.
And I am here as well. Please stand if you are able as Commissioner Burnett leads us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As the Planning Commission conducts the meeting this evening, we encourage active participation by the public, which is essential to the work of the Commission. The public can participate in several ways. Prior to a meeting, written comments about agenda items may be submitted to staff. And during the meeting, there are two opportunities for members of the public to participate. First, during verbal communications, an individual may speak on any topic that is not on the agenda. Second, during the public hearing portion of tonight's meeting, any member of the public may speak about an agenda item. You will be advised of these times when to speak on each of the items. If you wish to address the Commission tonight during the verbal communications portion or a public hearing agenda item, please raise your hand on Zoom, or if you are here in person, complete a speaker card and give it to a staff member. When you are called to speak, please come up to the podium and speak directly into the microphone as this meeting is being recorded. You will have 3 minutes to speak. We will now begin with the verbal communications portion of the meeting, during which members of the public are invited to address the Commission on any issue that is not on the agenda for tonight's meeting. Staff will announce when your 3-minute time is up. I have one card for this, a munchkin. And you will have 3 minutes when you start speaking.
I always like to start out with a little sense of humor. I think this is Cat in the Hat Town, so. The sun did not shine. It was too wet to play, so we sat in the house all that cold, cold, wet day. Okay, I have 2 quick topics. One is about planning, if you have any planning for a civil war, because I've been saying civil war for some time in the town hall meetings. And I don't know if you heard today of somebody getting shot, assassinated. I'm an independent, but also, I'm going to turn this in. A Senator Duckworth and quoting Donald Trump. I love the smell of deportation in the morning. Chicago is about to find out, I think a lot of you saw that in the news. Also, the FBI director is getting lawsuit for firing a bunch of FBI agents that are opposed to Trump. Another thing is earthquakes are playing this weekend, and there's going to be a lot of Mexican Independence Day. I'm not a public speaker, so there might be some, retaliation. I'm just letting you know there's 40,000 people, and if ICE shows up, I just wondering if you guys have any plans to safeguard the town, because you should be looking at this at this time. Now my other thing is I'm more into sports, and I've been trying to push this next Project 2026. March Madness, Super Bowl, March Madness, and World Cup. I did play soccer, so I know a lot more about that. But I'm a PE major, And you guys are not prepared. I was planning on it, and I've been trying to push it through town council or get somebody. In 1994, we hosted the Brazilian national team. I wish that you look up the video clip on local recall when the World Cup came, some of the advertisement on that, because you guys weren't involved in that, and there's only 2 films on that, but you're to get like 100,000 people, at least 100,000, probably a ton more, because of what the Brazil won the thing. And I went to the games back then. I only have 2 seconds, but I wish I had a little bit more time. But you're not prepared for that, and I wish I could talk a little bit more about that, these subjects. And I wish that you'd be more prepared. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the speaker? Okay. As you know, we don't respond to your questions, but they will be recorded and staff and people will, yes. So thank you very much for your comments tonight. And this is okay. I don't have any other speaker cards for verbal communications. Is there anyone with a hand raised on Zoom?
There's no one on Zoom.
Okay. Ouch. Okay. We will then move on to our consent calendar. And tonight we have one item on the consent calendar, which is the draft minutes of our last meeting on August 27th, 2025. Before the Planning Commission acts on the consent calendar, any member of the public or commission may request that this item be removed. Are there any such requests to do so? Okay. Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the consent calendar? Commissioner Burnett?
Yes, I make a motion to approve the consent calendar.
And a second?
I'll second, Chair.
Thank you. And any discussion? Okay. Seeing none, I will call the question. Please raise your hands for those of you that are in favor. And any
Abstain.
Abstain. Okay. So the motion passes. How many of us? 6-2 with one exception and with one abstention. Okay. Thank you. We will now move on to our public hearing, starting with item number 2. Item number 2 is to consider a request for approval of a zone change from Office O to R-18, single-family residential, minimum lot size of 8,000 square feet, located at 14331 Capri Drive, APN 406-32-004, zone change application Z-23-005, categorically exempt pursuant to CEQA guidelines, section 15061B3, common sense exemption. Property owner is Ravi Kiran Valamdas, and then the applicant is Gordon K. Wong. Before the staff report, may I have a show of hands from commissioners who visited the site? And are there any disclosures? Okay, great. Mr. Mullen, you have the staff report for us?
Yes, thank you and good evening. The applicant is requesting approval for a zone change from office to single-family residential. The zone changes require town council approval, and therefore this is coming before the Planning Commission for a recommendation to the council, who will render the final decision. This application, as well as the associated architecture and site application for a new residence, was reviewed by the Planning Commission on June 25th of this year. The Planning Commission forwarded a recommendation of approval to the town council on both applications. However, following the meeting and in consultation with the town attorney, it was determined that the zone change application did not receive proper public noticing, and therefore this application with proper noticing is coming back before the Planning Commission for a new recommendation to the town council. The property is located on the corner of Capri Drive and Visona Avenue. The property is currently zoned office, but has a general plan designation of low-density residential. The surrounding properties on the west side of Capri Drive all have the low-density residential general plan land use designation, and all are zoned R18 except the subject property. As residential use is not a permitted use in the office zone, the application for a new residence necessitates this zone change. As noted in the staff report, staff recommends approval of the zone change as it would be consistent with the surrounding neighborhood and general plan designation. No public comments on this zone change application have been received, and this concludes staff's report, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for staff at this time? Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Mr. Mullen. I just wanted to confirm, when we first heard this, there was both a zoning change and the site application. And during the hearing on the site application, we made recommendations regarding the design setbacks, et cetera. I just want to confirm for tonight's hearing, we do not have to re-examine either the site application or those specific recommendations. Those are still part of our record and our recommendations to Town Council. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. The architecture and site application is waiting for town council review. It's waiting on the recommendation that we'll receive tonight, and then we'll forward those together as a package. And that the recommendation of the council will include the planning commission's recommended changes and conditions.
Thank you, Mr. Mullen. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you for that clarification. Any other questions? Okay. So we will now open the public portion of the public hearing on item number 2 and give the applicant or whoever is speaking on behalf of the applicant an opportunity to address the commission for up to 5 minutes. Are we? Okay, you can come up to the podium, please, and state your name, and then you'll have 5 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kevin, and I'm here as the project rep on behalf of the owner and GKW Architects. This is Gordon Wong. I'm the architect. It's good to see you all, and hopefully today we can address the concern and the compliance for this project, which was brought up at the last hearing dated June 25th. During the last hearing, the primary concern was the mass of the house, and per town council recommendation, we set the second-story front facade 5 feet back, and you can view these changes on the proposed site plan of sheet G000, and the floor plans on sheet A102, and the proposed elevation on A200. By incorporating the 5 feet setback at the second story, the floor area has been reduced by a total of 338 square feet. There's also a reduction of FAR from 26.8% to 24.2%. There's also a reduction of lot coverage from 22.5% to 22.26%. And if we were to look at the plans at A200, we also made 3 additional changes that were discussed on the last hearing, which is the window reduction at the south side at the master bedroom, and we also eliminate 1 foot bump out, and we flush that wall to align. And lastly, we also provide an additional privacy screen trees, and these tree type is Kindred Spirit Hybrid Oak, and we propose 6 counts to ensure that the next door neighbor will not have any privacy issue. And I think that should be all for the changes, and we really hope that these changes actually meet the town council's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Before you sit down, do we have any questions for the applicant team at this time? No. Okay, thank you. Okay, so now we will invite comments from members of the public. If you have not already turned in a speaker card to staff, please do so at this time or use the raise hand feature on Zoom. Is anyone on Zoom?
There's no hands raised on Zoom.
Okay. Then we will invite you back up to make a closing statement. You also don't have to make another statement if you don't need to, but we might have questions for you. So if you can come back up, sorry, just making you sit down and stand up again. Come back up to the podium. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
No, I think we're good.
Questions? Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Are there any questions for the applicant at this time? No? Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. All good.
Okay. So we will now close the public portion of the hearing on item number 2, and I invite commissioners to ask questions of staff, provide comments, and eventually propose a motion. I would just like to say that I appreciate the communication about the changes, but as Commissioner Raspy asked a clarifying question about, we are here tonight to make a decision about the zoning change because of the public noticing, and we have received no comments about that. So if anyone wants to, Commissioner Raspy, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I think we're here tonight largely for a technical issue, something resembling the notice provisions. And reviewing our notes, it appears that this commission voted unanimously on the zoning change issue last time. I don't think I've seen anything in the record to indicate that my vote would change, and so I would recommend passing that provision so that this development can continue. And then I would also add to the chair's comments, thanking the applicant for making those changes that were requested of the commission with respect to the site application. Those are my comments.
Commissioner Barnett?
Yeah, if it's not premature, I'd be happy to make a motion, given that this was unanimously approved previously, as Commissioner Raspy pointed out. May I? Okay, thank you. Concerning item 2 on tonight's calendar, concerning a request for approval of a zone change from office to R18, property located at 14331 Capri Drive. I move to forward a recommendation to the Town Council for approval of the zone change application and can make the finding that the project is not subject to CEQA, that the proposed zone change is consistent with the general plan and its elements, Exhibit 2, and move to forward the recommendation of the zoning change application Z23005 to the Town Council.
Vice Chair Birch?
I will second the motion.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion? I'll call the question. All those in favor, please raise your hand. And it passes unanimously. Are there no appeal rights because this is a recommendation to council?
That's correct.
Okay, and it will be moving on as an entire package to council. Great. Okay, thank you. Okay, we will now be moving on to item number 3, which is to consider a request for approval of a 1-year time extension for the existing architecture and site S-21-008 conditional use permit U-21-010 variance V-V12-003 and lot merger M-22-008. Application to demolish 1 existing office and 3 residential buildings, construct an assisted living and memory care facility, a variance from the maximum height and lot coverage of the zone, merger of 4 lots into 1, and removal of large protected trees on property zoned O, located at 15860 to 15894 Winchester Boulevard and 17484 Shelburne Way. APNs 529-11-013, 038, 039, and 040. Architecture and site application S-52-034. Conditional use permit application U-25-004. Variance application V-25-001 and subdivision application M-25-007. A mitigated negative declaration ND-22-001 was adopted for this project, and the applicant and property owner is Green Valley Corporation and through Swenson. And I would like to ask if everyone visited this site. It was a long one. Okay. Great, thank you. And then are there any disclosures? Perfect. And Mr. Mullen, you will be presenting the staff report too?
Yes, thank you again. The project before you this evening is a request for a 1-year extension to an approved assisted living and memory care facility. On August 9th, 2023, the Planning Commission approved the project with modified conditions of approval. The decision was appealed by a neighbor to the council, and the council was unable to make the findings for granting the appeal and denied the appeal on September 19th, 2023. The applicant requests a one-year time extension to the existing architecture and site conditional use permit and variance and lot merger applications, as these approvals will expire on September 19th, 2025. The applicant indicates that additional time is needed to allow for market adjustments toward more favorable financial conditions. Town Code Section 29.20.325 allows for reasonable extensions of time not exceeding 1 year by the body having jurisdiction to grant the original approval, which is in this case the Planning Commission. Before granting the extension, the deciding body must find evidence that there would be no legal impediment to granting a new application for the same approval, and that the conditions originally applied or new conditions to be applied as part of the extension are adopted to any new facts concerning the proposed project. As provided in the staff report, staff believes these findings can be made and notes that the recommended conditions of approval have been updated to meet current fire, building, engineering, and planning regulations. The conditions also include the changes that were recommended or included in the Planning Commission's original approval, which was a height reduction and some screening trees planting, and that's included in Exhibit 3 as conditions 3 and 4. So staff recommends approval of the requested one-year extension to the existing applications, subject to the recommended conditions of approval. A desk item was distributed today clarifying that any motion to grant the requested extension only include making the findings required by Town Code Section 29.20.325 in Exhibit 2, and adopting the updated conditions of approval included as Exhibits 3 and 4. This concludes my presentation, and we are happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for staff at this time? Yes, Commissioner Rossby.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Mr. Mullen. And this may be actually a question better suited for Town Council. I understand that 29.20.325 allows for reasonable extension up to a year. Does it allow for more than a single extension? That is, can there be sequential extensions?
I read the ordinance itself to provide for a single one-year extension. That said, I haven't looked at the legislative history, but that's my reading of the statute.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, we will now open the public portion of the public hearing on item number 3 and give the applicant team an opportunity to address the commission for up to 5 minutes. So if you are here speaking tonight for the applicant, please, thank you. Please come up to the podium and introduce yourself, and you will have up to 5 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. My name is Mark Pilarczyk. I'm with Green Valley Corp, or DBA Swenson. We're here tonight for the extension due to capital markets. I will say that I just came back from one of the largest conferences in the nation in Texas for assisted living memory care, and there is a verge or a uniqueness that we have seen this year than we have in the past 3 years, with actually cautious, optimistic movement in the capital markets. That entailed with the fact that we do intend to see interest rate reduction in September, potentially the rest of the balance of this year from the feds, will also help kind of push that argument forward. So we are cautiously optimistic that within this 1 year that it would be a much favorable position. And we are coming to the table not changing anything from the original approval except for the updates to codes as noted from staff. So here for any questions.
Thank you very much for that update. Are there any questions for this time? Okay. Thank you very much. We will now invite comments from members of the public. I don't have any speaker cards. Is there anyone on Zoom?
There are no hands raised on Zoom.
Okay, thank you. You can, if you want to come back up again, people might have any questions just for a closing statement. Does anyone have any questions? No. Okay, thank you very much. We will now close the public portion of the public hearing on item number 3, and I invite commissioners to ask questions of staff, provide comments, or eventually propose a motion. I will just like to start off with saying that I was on the commission with, maybe four of us were? Okay, four of us were when we saw this project originally. And so I do not have any questions, and we didn't receive any public comments from neighbors, which there was a lot of that previously that we helped to try and mediate. So anyway, I don't see a problem with extending this. I can make the 2 required findings, and I'm happy with the updated conditions of approval. So if there's anyone that wants to add anything, that's great. But if not, yes, Vice Chair Burge.
I feel like you had the great start of a motion.
I am happy to do that but I don't want to. Does anyone have anything to say? Yes.
I would only add that I voted in favor of this project last time, in large measure because I think there is a large and upcoming need for these types of facilities in Los Gatos specifically and elsewhere in California. And so I'm glad to see a top quality healthcare facility landing here and hopefully being produced, certainly. Thank you.
Yes.
One other just quick question on the extension. So if for any reason they're not able to pull the permit in another year, the code says they could apply again. It's just one by one. We can't do successive extensions, right?
So I'll jump in, and I think the town attorney's explained she'll take another look at it. It's been, we have seen some projects where they've had multiple extensions, but we'll have the town attorney look at that legislative history and see if she may have other thoughts on that moving forward. But there is potentially the possibility to apply for an additional extension if necessary.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Then I will go ahead and do a motion. I move to approve the 1-year time extension for item number 3. I can make the findings that there would be no legal impediment to granting a new application for the same approval as required by section 292325B of the town code for granting a 1-year time extension. And I can also make the finding that conditions originally applied or new conditions to be applied as part of the extension approval are adopted to any new facts concerning the proposed project as required by section 292325B of the town code for granting a 1-year extension, and with that forward on the updated conditions of approval in exhibits 3 and 4. And yes, Commissioner Stump.
Second.
Thank you. And any discussion? I'll call the question. All those in favor? And it passes unanimously. Are there appeal rights?
Thank you, Chair. Yes, there are appeal rights. Anyone who's not satisfied with the decision of the Planning Commission can appeal that decision to the Town Council. Appeal forms are available in the clerk's office and online. There is a fee for filing the appeal, and the appeal must be filed within 10 days.
Okay, thank you. Yes, Ms. Whalen.
I just refreshed my memory on the wording of the ordinance, and it does say that repeated extensions may be granted and new conditions imposed. So they're all eligible for more than one extension.
Thank you for that update. We will now be moving on to the report from the Director of Community Development. Director Paulson, do you have an update for us?
Thank you, Chair. No updates this evening.
Okay, thank you. In addition to their service on the Planning Commission, members of the Commission serve on several town committees, including the Conceptual Development Advisory Commission, the General Plan Committee, and the Historic Preservation Committee. Have there been any committee meetings since our last? I don't think so. Okay, so we have no subcommittee updates. Thank you to staff, commissioners, and the public for your participation this evening. There being no further business of the Commission, this meeting is adjourned.